everyone. Good evening. I love the energy in this room. I love it a lot, but I'm still going to ask everyone to take a seat so we can kick off the evening. Welcome. It is such a pleasure to welcome you to the 2024 Democracy Awards of the National Endowment for Democracy. I want to thank all of you for joining us to honor individuals who have made extraordinary contributions to freedom, democracy, and human rights around the world. You'll hear from our chairman, Ken Wallach, a little bit later, our extraordinary chairman. But for now, I want to extend a warm welcome on behalf of the NED board members who serve as your hosts this evening. I also want to invite you to begin your meal. Welcome. So we know that today's challenges mean that we must work in common cause with others to go on offense to renew democracy. And that's why you are here tonight. First, I want to acknowledge the champions we will hear from this evening. Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya of Belarus, Aung Myo Min of Burma, Evgenia Kara-Murza of Russia, Zara Haidar of Sudan, Ledun Taitong Gyallo Sikyong Pimpa Tsering of Tibet, Katerina Rashevska, and Valeria Sidorova of Ukraine, Maria Corina Machado, Jorge Glem Salvera of Venezuela, and two very special honorees, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell and Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. Thank you. Thank you. But as the endowment is a creature of the Congress, we're so delighted to welcome tonight Senator Jeanne Shaheen, along with Representatives Joaquin Castro, Stephen Cohen, Sarah Jacobs, and Joe Wilson. Thank you for joining tonight. I also want to welcome all the members of the administration, the diplomatic corps, former NED board members, and leaders of so many allied organizations that you see throughout the room, as well as members of the press. And of course, our generous sponsors tonight, Eileen Donahue and the Hereford Foundation, represented by Jane Kurtzman, as presenting sponsors. So 41 years ago, drawing on the pillars of American political life and the best of our democratic values, Democrats, Republicans, business and labor, they came together behind the simple idea that American private actors should stand by their counterparts working for democratic goals around the world. And today, that NED family is represented by my colleagues in the four core institutes of the endowment. Andrew Wilson from SIPE, associated with the U.S. Chamber, which is serving as our generous host this evening. Shauna Bader-Blau from the Solidarity Center, associated with the AFL-CIO. Dan Twining of IRI, and our newest colleague, Tamara Wittes from NDI. I also want to give a shout out to the incredibly dedicated NED staff that is here. It is such a privilege to work with you every day. And of course, we're joined by some remarkable former NED staff, including NED's founding president, the indomitable Carl Gershman. But the reason we are so inspired to do our work is because of the work of those on the forefront of the struggle for democracy. So look around the room, from our honorees to so many NED partners, Reagan Fassell Fellows, Penn Kimball Fellows, World Movement for Democracy Steering Committee members, and democratic leaders who should be leading their nations rather than being forced into exile. We are here tonight because of all of you. And we see every day, through you, the insatiable demand for democracy as people risk everything for the simple idea of having a say over their own future. Yes, this is a consequential year from freedom, when more than half of humanity heads to the polls. And this very fact is the basis for confidence in the future. Even autocrats have to concede that legitimacy somehow is based and the popular will of people. So our partners are pushing back on restrictive measures aimed at stacking the deck and delegitimizing their work. They're grappling with the impact of AI. And in the face of these evolving challenges, NED remains laser-focused on our singular mission of supporting freedom, helping ordinary people doing extraordinary things, investing in the foundations of democracy over the long term. So tonight, as we honor heroes, we also gather in solidarity with partners and Core Institute staff detained this week in Yemen, with partners beaten as they protest to preserve democracy in Georgia, who have been forced to flee from Venezuela and Iran, driven into exile from Nicaragua and Zimbabwe, who have lost their lives in Burma, Gaza, Israel, and Ukraine, and countless others who are paying far too high a price for their fundamental rights. And in the NED family, these are not news items. These are our partners. And for many tonight, these are your family, these are your friends. So amidst a coordinated assault on democracy on the world, NED and our partners are adapting by sharpening our approach. We are helping our partners leverage opportunities. We are leaning into our role as venture capital for democracy, taking prudent risks, being flexible. We're working more closely as a NED family while also connecting our partners to each other to ensure a stronger democratic ecosystem. And as technology-enabled repression becomes more sophisticated, we're pushing ourselves to be the best partner of our partners in the hardest places. And we carry out this mission because it's the right thing to do. It represents the convergence of our values and our interests. Our modest support for democracy overseas is our nation's most cost-effective investment in a more peaceful, democratic, and prosperous world. The best response to these challenging times is to help others pursue their democratic aspirations peacefully. And this ethos is epitomized in our honorees this evening. They represent the unwavering spirit of democracy. So let's begin with our first honoree. Thank you.